Hello, I'm Richard.
Hello, I'm Kelly. We are the Stereophonics, and you are watching Undercover.
Well, welcome to Undercover, and we welcome in from the Stereophonics, Kelly Jones, Richard Jones. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, it's been quite a few times you've made your way down this way.
We have, yeah. I mean, we've been coming here since 1997, and it's been good.
And you still haven't lost your accent.
We haven't, no. Well, we have. Depends where you go, really. When we go back to Wales, it becomes a lot more Welsh.
Yeah. So we've just got to the seventh album for Stereophonics, Keep Calm and Carry On. And, you know, how's it feel getting 7 albums in? Do you feel like a bit of a veteran now?
Feels good. I mean, we're the only ones left. From
You've outlasted the record company.
Yeah, 2 record companies. So, no, we've been enjoying it. I mean, for us, we said from day one, even if you trace back interviews, we were ranting in 1996, 97. We were never really in it for the short haul. You know, for us, all the artists we grew up listening to, you know, changed and developed, and you know, they succeeded, sometimes failed, other times, but it was about trying to make records that were true to, you know, how we felt at the times we made them, really. And some records were more successful than others. Some records get played on the radio more than others, but you know, every note we've ever released, we've believed in, really. So it feels good. It feels good to still be making records that are challenging people, and particularly this last record, I had some of the best reviews since our first album. So it means a lot to us. You know?
Are you chart watchers?
Not really, no.
When we're in there,
yeah. When we're in it, yeah.
But does it matter, you know, what position you are on the chart this week?
I think it used to be, you know, like when it was fully, you know, like CDs in shops and albums in shops, but now it's gone more towards MP3s and downloads and what have you. It's pretty hard to know where you are in all the different charts, if you know what I mean, because you've got the iTunes, you've got the physical charts, and you don't know which one's a true representation half the time. So.
Yeah, but you'd come off the back of 5 consecutive number 1 albums, and this one didn't quite make number 1, but, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, if it's only about, you know, chart position and not about the music, does it really matter?
Well, it changes, you know what I mean? I mean, we had 5 number 1 albums. Ironically, the greatest hits went to number 2, which has got all the best ones from all those 5 albums that went to number 1 on. But we decided on the last records to release records in the 4th quarter, you know, which is the busiest time of year, and the last album went into number 11, and we kind of knew that a week before we wouldn't going to make the top 10, because the top 10 was full of X Factor and TV related releases in Christmas, and you kind of take that gamble because you sit down the record company and you kind of like, well, is this a good idea? And the reality given back to you is the only time people are buying records is that time of year. So you can go and get a number 1 record in January, but you're going to sell not really that many records to obtain that, you know what I mean? So it's a funny one, really. You kind of shagged if you do, shagged if you don't, if you know what I mean. So you just kind of, that's what I think Rich is saying, you just make the records you want to make, and the tours are bigger and better than they've ever been, and we know we're still going forward in what we're trying to do musically. I think at the minute it's a very major transition period between digital and physical and pop and rock bands, and having a, you know, there's hardly any rock bands in the top 40 anyway.
That's
so
right.
It's all female oriented pop stars at the minute, which is great, and it goes round in cycles, and we've watched that cycle come and go 3 or 4 times now, so we don't really get that scared by it anymore, you know. And when we released Bartender and a Thief, the charts were full of bands like Steps and S Club 7, and they're no longer with us, I don't believe.
No.
But
funny about that.
So proof will be in the pudding, so I think it's the tortoise on the hare.
Yeah, well, I guess the great thing about Stereophonics is right from day one you set yourselves up as a live band, didn't you? I mean, it was always about that live performance.
Yeah, well, you know, like what we do best is go into the studio, record the songs, and then take them on the road and try and play them as close to the record as possible. And you know, like that's kind of what we've done all the time, and the people keep on coming back and keep on buying the album. So I think we must be doing something right or wrong.
Yeah. Well, on the previous album, Push the Pin, you were also doing a solo album at the same time, which must have been fun and juggling.
Well, it was kind of a strange thing, really, because, you know, the record company were about to fold, and we kind of got the hint that they weren't going to release Pull the Pin for like another 6 months, even though we'd finished it. And I had a bunch of tracks that were left which didn't really fit on that album, and kind of developed this concept of women's names and called it Only the Names Have Been Changed, and it was quite I've always liked stuff like Nick Cave and the Murder Ballads and Tom Waits and Neil Young and all those kind of records anyway. So for me to just... I mean, Richard was sitting on the couch as I was doing it. It wasn't like I went off to some Moroccan studio and got away from the boys. I mean, everybody was there. Tuning snare drums or whatever in the other room. So it was just one of those things that was released separately, but it was kind of done at the same time, really.
Right. I haven't been able to track, your outside projects down too much.
That's because there ain't any.
There ain't?
No.
No? I see all the other guys out there doing their, little thing on the side. You're the guy out there getting the tattoos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, band's not around this week, I'll get a tattoo.
He'll come. He's like the Larry Mullen of the band.
Yeah, I don't know, I just never found the need to do something outside the band. I love being in the band, and what I do in the band, satisfies what I need, really. So.
Well, my favourite tattoo story of yours is the one where you had sort of the name misspelled.
Yes. Yes, I paid for a dealie.
Your own name, Jonesy. And they still got it wrong.
Yep, I spent lots of money covering it over again and again and again and again.
Is that what you had to do? Like literally cover it up?
Yes.
Yeah. So it no longer exists.
It was a local tattooist, in and around our town, and basically you could have either his name tattooed on you, and he'd do it for free, or you could have your own name, and it was a bit of a gamble if you could spell it right. So.
Yeah. So how many have you got?
They've kind of all gone into like 1 or 2 big tattoos now. So I used to count them as about 15 or 16, but now I've got like
2 sleeves now.
2 sleeves and 1 or 2 others now. So.
Yeah, quite a walking art gallery.
Yeah,
man, I think.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem strange for me. All my brother's got them, my father's got them, so it's just one of those things. Like pictures on people.
Yeah. Well, speaking of these other projects in the band, Adam had his band Casino, and are you all sort of fans of each other's solo outings, or do you listen or go to the gigs? Or
well, we've known Adam for over 10 years now. I mean, when we were playing bars when we first came out, he was in a different band opening up for us, and he had a record deal with Geffen, then he had another record deal with I think Polydor, possibly. I can't remember the other one was. But anyway, both of them, unfortunately for him, fell through, and we needed another guitar player to replicate some of the things we played on our records, and Adam was in a position where he was able to do that, and it's always a bonus when it's somebody you know, as a friend, as opposed to finding somebody through a newspaper article or something like that. So, what people don't realise, I think, when you're in a band, it's not always about the musicality of people, it's being able to live with each other, really.
He's kind of a backup plan whenever a support band couldn't turn up. We'd phone Adam and he'd turn up with his band and fill that slot for us.
Yeah. Well, it's not like there's been a lot of dead time in between Stereophonics projects either. I mean, you constantly seem to be out there. Yeah,
we try to do a record, and then the tours usually last anywhere between 12 and 18 months, depending on what's going on. And usually by the end of those tours, we've got a bunch of songs ready to make a new record. I mean, it seems more intense than it actually is on paper, because we kind of come back and forth in midst of all that stuff. But I think the reason why we've always remained in the eye line of people is we've constantly made a record every 2 years, really. And I think, especially in this day and age, there's so many people making music now in so many different forms, whether it's MySpace or Facebook or whatever. You can access music any way you want. I think to compete with bands on their first record, and also contemporaries and stuff, I think is an important thing to remain in people's focus point.